If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Chapter 4, Argentina Police Officer Abducted, 2006. Imagine you're a police officer patrolling the streets on your police difficult motorbike via the lovely mountain roads of Argentina, when you pull over and are confronted with the aid of two aliens and one different tall creature that take over your free will and commence issuing your orders, just so they can better examine about humans by performing checks on none different than lucky you. Well, such an incident occurred to Puchetta one evening, and different officers from his station have additionally tested seeing the UFO lights around the mountain area. Photo of police officer located at roadside. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of weapon parts and smartphone on the ground. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. It took region in General Pico, La Pampa, Argentina. It was March 2, 2006, when Corporal Sergio Puchetta, a neighborhood police officer, abruptly came up missing from his route through the high mountain pass. The officer had been missing for a total of 20 hours earlier than he was once sooner or later found. His closing assertion he made on his mobile phone used to be him reporting a strange situation, however his connection was cut off. It used to be only a matter of 10 minutes earlier than there had been backup police officers scouring the region for him. They located his closing location where he interestingly called from, yet they have been baffled by what they found. The police officer's motorcycle laid on the ground sideways, with his disassembled weapon sprawled across the floor along with his helmet, radio, and cell phone. The next day the police led an intensive search over the entire mountain where the officer had vanished. Finally, they found him at 4:30 p.m. sitting down on the aspect of a filth road, crouched in a fetal position. They discovered the officer between the small towns of Trilly and Quemu, about 20 kilometers from the place where his non-public items and motorbike were discovered a day earlier. One of the nearby farmers happened along the avenue when he observed the man sitting down with his arms wrapped around his bent legs and his head hidden between his chest and legs. The farmer stated that when he discovered the officer, he appeared to be in a country of nervous shock. As quickly as other officers got here to assist him, Corporal Sergio Puchetta commenced telling them about his sighting of the two small humanoids with glowing red eyes, which interestingly communicated by using the usage of telepathy, and gave him orders. He stated that he tried to get away from the two aliens, but could no longer be mindful much after that. He was once even harassed about how he had ended up 20 kilometers away on a desolate and not often traveled road. He said the two aliens observed him around and gave him orders telepathically. Earlier records of Corporal Sergio Puchetta patrolling the location normally had turned up reviews of him seeing atypical lights, and he had tried to movie these lights on many occasions so that he should show his fellow officers proof of his reports. For some peculiar reason, the officer that they noticed healthy to elevate a gun and protect and serve the human beings was once placed into psychiatric care. The medical practitioner says he used to be suffering from headaches and his hands itch, which doesn't justify the psychiatric care for the reason that hand lotion and some aspirin can take care of these symptoms. Corporal Sergio Puchetta said that he had been riding his Honda 125cc bike when he subsequently received to the summit region of wilderness referred to as Las Cañas. At this factor, he saw a pink mild that regarded to be the taillight of a car, but when he reached the place of the source of light, he found nothing unusual and the light had vanished. He felt confused and pulled his motorbike to the facet of the street and received off to seem around and discover the surrounding area. When he found nothing unusual, he became back and started out walking back to his motorcycle. As he stood next to his bike, the red mild lower back and floated in front of him. He was awestruck by using the luminosity and dismayed at why he should now not cross his hands. Then he watched as the light rose excessively into the air, but something unexpectedly prompted him as considerable headache and eye pain. He panicked and tried to run away from the mild to ease the pain and turned and bolted towards a close-by field of corn. The officer by no means remembered dismantling his police pistol or the walkie-talkie, each of which had been observed sprawled out on the blacktop avenue a few feet from his motorcycle, which sat on its side. The officer stated he grew to become fixated on the light, freezing like an anxious deer in the headlights of a car. He stated at this point that he could now not sense his hands. We can anticipate that at this point he used to underneath manipulate these alien-like creatures, dismantling the gun into many portions and the walkie-talkie, taking off its antenna, and pulling out its battery. If he did that himself, then this was the moment in the story in which he had the first contact with the aliens. This brings us to his mobile cell phone located on the ground. The mobile phone telephone was once found nevertheless in working condition, however with a few twists to it. The mobile phone's memory had been wiped clean of all the stored statistics and telephone numbers that Corporal Sergio Puchetta had put onto it, barring one. The final call the officer made, he apparently didn't use the memory of the telephone to dial, however as a substitute pushed in the numbers 1 using 1 himself. The capacity of the memory was deleted before he tried to dial for assistance. Not only that, but he said the walkie-talkie didn't work, indicating again that a feasible big power source was close adequate to each wipe out the phone telephone's reminiscence and disrupt radio communication. If as a substitute for making a cell phone telephone call, he had begun taking video or pictures of the aliens, then he would have some proof to prove his story, assuming the electricity surge got here earlier than that call. However, then hindsight is always 20/20. Corporal Sergio Puchetta was pursued into the discipline using the 2 aliens that seemed to now not even contact the ground, however as an alternative levitates over it gracefully. He stated the creatures were incredibly shorter and thinner than him in stature and were also semi-transparent. They had overly large heads and their eyes have been clear and red. He stated that the 2 aliens had been, needless to say, using his idea for performing scientific tests. When he had reached the cornfield, he saw a 1/3 creature, like nothing he had ever viewed before. It used to be lots taller than him and was chewing the corncobs and breaking them in half. He felt too scared to walk past the creature and solely stood there gaping at it. It started to the strategy he steps using the step. That was when he heard the 2 aliens inform him, either go ahead or backward. He then walked right past the tall creature. The worry he had in him all at once left him. Another officer asked him if the 3rd figure was once some farm animal. Puchetta replied, no, due to the fact it used to be plenty taller than me and a good deal larger in size. 2 weeks earlier, some other officer, a friend to Corporal Sergio Puchetta, used to be driving along an access road to Augustoni and he pronounced seeing an odd mild in the center of the road. Believing it was a car, he flashed his headlights at it, however, the light didn't pass out of the core of the road. Finally, when he was once about to overtake the light, it all of the sudden passed to the left of the road, then to the proper, and then straight up and out of sight. This left the officer feeling confused at what happened, but he filed a report on it at the police station. Medics drove Corporal Sergio Puchetta to the Centeno Regional Hospital where Dr. Covella assisted him. The officer was once regarded over with the aid of many professionals and used to be examined for many things, discovering finally that his bodily nation was once flawlessly normal and hydrated. Dr. Covella stated that the officer basically appeared to be exhausted from lack of sleep, which Corporal Sergio Puchetta verified through constantly asking to be let alone so that he could rest. As uncommon as it is, of having a police officer for my part witnessing aliens and their spacecraft, it is even greater uncommon that 12 months later it happened again. 12 months later and 411 km away from the city of Tripoli, got here any other alien sighting by way of not 1, but 4 police officers. In this sighting, they too skilled paralyzed components of their body and said the aliens had been brief in stature. The UFO sighting took place on November 10, 2007, near the city of Irene, Coronel Dorrego district, which caused the local residents to query the rationality of their police force. It all started on a Wednesday at 1:30 a.m. when 2 police officers coming out of the Oriente station began to inspect the rural place of Irene, but were directed to the property of Felipe Fernandez. The police officers were on a normal patrol of the neighborhood when Officer Orellano all at once gets out of the police truck to take a nearer seem to be at something. Officer Bracamont stayed in the truck attempting to get a new telephone card into his cell phone. He noticed a small mild like that of some other vehicle coming towards him. The mild came nearer and brighter. It didn't seem to trouble him at all, but then when it was at a distance of about 10 meters away, he noticed a structure moving and his first idea had been that it was a canine wandering through the headlights of the different vehicle. He absolutely saw the silhouette and realized that it used to be a person, no longer a dog. The man or woman was standing about 80 centimeters high. He saw the man or woman had a giant head, giant spherical gray eyes, and had a greenish tint to their skin. He said, I tried to dial my fellow officer's telephone phone, but when I pressed the 1 and the 5, my hand remained kind of static. I could see that 3 creatures came out of that automobile or craft, 2 comparable to the first and a 4th with a barely extra sturdy appearance. At the same time, his accomplice was once additionally seeing the same thing and he yelled out, "What's going on?" The 4 aliens panicked and bolted for the ship. They entered the craft and it quickly rose and shot off toward the north. In its wake, the craft left a white light trail, and in the back of that was an inexperienced halo of light. The officers smelled a powerful odor that is most similar to that of sulfur or gunpowder. Also, the ship made a sound similar to thunder as it raced away. Note, the odor of sulfur might also be linked to the environment the aliens breathe in their ship. I don't assume it is linked to the ship's propulsion system. Phil Schneider's statements lead me to this conclusion. Refer to Underground Base chapter. Bracamont had no notion what was going on, however, when his associate sat returned interior the truck, his hand nonetheless had no feeling in any way in it. Also for 2 greater hours, he had hassle with his eyes, due to the fact tears would no longer quit flowing. When the 2 officers obtained lower back to the police station, they mentioned to the others what they had seen. They soon discovered out they had been no longer the sole ones that morning to witness the event. 2 other police officers, Sub-Lieutenant Santiago Walter of the Aparicio police station stated that when they were on a pursuits patrol simply 2 kilometers away from the town of Irene, they saw something unusual. It was once between 1 and 2 in the morning. They had been using out of town Nicholas Descalzi and headed in the path of Aparicio when they noticed a large white light that suddenly commenced to cowl their truck. He said, at that time the truck stopped lifeless and I tried to area a call on my mobile phone, however, there was once no signal. My partner, Carabajal, requested me to seem to be up. That's when we noticed an effective mild that seemed to give up above our pickup truck and then vanished in a flash. Neither officer ought to explain what they had witnessed. Local residents of Oriente proven the officers' reports announcing that they had considered a strange glow flying over the towns of Irene and Aparicio between 1 and 2 in the morning. A married couple had been using Marisol from Oriente at the equal time and stated that their vehicle used to be protected in light that appeared to quickly travel from Irene before hovering over them. All these sightings undergo many similarities to the Travis Walton abduction case in America made famous in a book and movie called Fire in the Sky. It took place in November of 1975 when a group of 6 humans employed as tree trimmers began riding domestic from work in an old pickup. They drove via the Sitgreave Apache National Forest in Arizona, USA. The team noticed the lights of a flying saucer hovering over the trees and stopped the truck to get out and get a better look at it. It used to be hovering about 15 toes above the pine trees. Travis Walton wanted to get a higher seam, so he walked directly beneath the craft that was now hovering in the grassy subject that they stood. His buddies protested and tried to get him to come back, however, he didn't listen to them. Instantly Travis was knocked to the floor through a wide blue and white beam of light. When the men in the truck witnessed this, they panicked and drove off down the dust avenue believing that the UFO had killed Travis. Later, when they acquired their wits back, they drove again out to the place where they had left Travis, but they may want to no longer find any sign of him. 5 days later, with the newspapers blaming the crew on killing their pal Travis, he was once found on a rarely traveled U.S. road, with no memory of what had happened to him over those few days. Later the team all underwent police lie detector tests, all of them surpassed except one, which was undetermined. In conclusion, the police officers will have to suffer loads of criticism as regulation enforcement officers, that is, if they are lucky enough to be allowed to preserve their jobs. When Corporal Sergio Puchetta, March 2006, described the 2 aliens being followed through a much taller creature, it is clear that this taller creature is every other smart alien species, meaning, yes, there are more than one species of aliens out there. Read the chapter on Area S4 to find out exactly how many exist. Also, a word that this sighting is on top of a mountain, the place there have already been many sightings of UFO lights over the years. Many UFO sightings every 12 months around the world take area close to tall mountains or volcanoes. As they strategy the mountain, most disappear suddenly. This can solely be explained by using them flying through some digital shield into some underground base. For extra information on these underground bases, read my chapter on it at the top of my novel, Dragons of Asgard. Understand these are alien-driven craft and no longer ghosts or gods that can travel through mountains. They are flesh and blood like you and me. If the police officers concerned had been fortunate adequate to get some video or photographs of the aliens on his cell phone, matters would possibly have become out differently for them. But unluckily all Corporal Sergio Puchetta has is his recollection of what happened on the mountain and the witness testimony of quite a few different officers who have seen the atypical UFO lights in the area. The police officer in the March 2, 2006 sighting certainly was overly touchy and inclined to be afraid of things. It sounds like his fear managed him extra than the aliens did. Chapter 5, Apollo 20 Alien Technology Retrieval Mission 2007. In April of 2007, various videos apparently taken by way of NASA have emerged showing a town on the moon and a close-up of an alien cigar-formed vessel in DePort crater. William Rutledge, who claims to be a former US astronaut that took part in this mission, launched the videos. These videos have been from the Apollo 20 mission. Apollo 20 was a covered Apollo mission to the moon to retrieve ancient alien technology. I'll be the first to admit this simply looks ridiculous at first glance, but if you do a little look up into William Rutledge's story, then you begin to see that NASA has been hiding the reality for a long time, editing what we are allowed to know and no longer know. When gaining knowledge of this story, I hope to learn the truth about the covert missions to the moon. What I learned instead started up my imagination, reinforced through beliefs, and amplified my fears. Photo of the city on the moon. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of proper facet of town on moon. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of the ship on the moon at Deport crater. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of shut up of ship on the moon. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of the face of EBE observed on the ship. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Photo of JFK memo of November 12, 1963. At http://scwbook.blogspot.com/. Rutledge does exhibit that he has severe expertise in geology, chemistry, and house exploration, which can be considered in his vocabulary that he makes use of during his interview for a UFO magazine. Another motive that Rutledge seems credible is that he didn't acquire cash from the UFO interview, nor has he so far. So what could be his motive? Perhaps it is to deliver out the truth about the existence of alien technology on the moon. William Rutledge is an 80-year-old man currently dwelling in Rwanda. He was once born in 1930. Note, Rutledge is the identical age as astronaut Edgar Mitchell is an extraordinary scientist and an all-American hero who was once born on September 17, 1930. He claims to be an astronaut that traveled to the moon on a mission called Apollo 20. Now Apollo 17 was once supposedly the remaining mission for NASA. At that point, NASA cancelled the next 3 missions, claiming that their finances presently were once now not capable of funding such an exploit. William Rutledge stated that NASA's Apollo 14 mission took snapshots as they flew over the polar region of the darkish side of the moon, recording numerous ships, extraordinary shaped buildings, and historical towering cities, most appearing abandoned for million years. As I investigated, I found that all Apollo missions from 14 to 17 flew over that polar area of the darkish aspect of the moon. Each of these missions landed inside a few hundred miles of each other, indicating that something in the vicinity was of high scientific value. The fundamental mission of Apollo 20 used to be to explore a mum ship long seeing that abandoned, however, observed in Apollo 14 photographs. The mission took area near Deport crater, the place a cigar-fashioned object is simply seen even with the bare eye, in these NASA photographs at 1. http://www.lpi.usra.edu/resources/apollo/frame/ AS15P96302 http://www.lpi.usra.edu/resources/apollo/frame/ AS15P9625. Before investigating William Rutledge's claims first regarded the NASA panoramic pics above. It took me about 3 minutes to spot the cigar-formed ship poking oddly out of a crater place in the proper 1/3 of the photograph that he speaks about. It is elongated and appears to have a cockpit vicinity with home windows close to the nose area. I didn't feel this used to be sufficient proof to prove that he was once being truthful. Perhaps he discovered the same picture and made up the total story? I dove deeper into the photo. Photograph 9630 acquired my attention first. I explored some distance left of it, peering at its dark shadows and those uncommon reflective objects displaying through them. That's when I first noticed a silver odd-shaped construction truly visible with the bare eye and besides altering the image in any way. To research greater of what I found, refer to the chapter on moon discoveries. Needless to say, I learned that William Rutledge was once telling at least one truth: an abundance of alien science does exist on the location of the moon that he suggests. Abundance meaning there is so an awful lot there that it is not possible to be counted at all. Now let's discover his story. Using the panoramic photo that he speaks about, and enlarging it 500% of the usage of any photograph program, many alien objects will emerge as clear to the bare eye. However, let's not end there. Instead, let's use a newbie CSI method for digital photos. This approach is quite simple. Take the enlarged photo, searching through a digital camera while the image is on the computer screen. This reasons pics that have been blurred via a photograph application to once more emerge as semi-focused, bringing it returned up to 80% to 90% of the original image. Yes, this is redigitalization, but as soon as it's in focus, you will be amazed, nay, awestruck at what you see before you. Rutledge claims that a secret joint house mission, American-Soviet collaboration, began in August of 1976 in search of alien technology. Is it possible? After looking at those photos, using the beginner CSI techniques, I located his story to be credible. Numerous structures, many with lighted windows, can be located in the photo. When you see a dark location of the moon all blanketed in shadows and a spherical or geometrical shaped construction in the shadows with a row of lit home windows across it, you can count on someone's home. Since April of 2007, a man claiming to be William Rutledge has been constantly disclosing hundreds of facts and video footage alongside photographic materials on the internet website online www.youtube.com. His user title on YouTube used to be Retired AF, and his video of the moon town got over 1.5 million views before any individual, smells like NSA, mysteriously hacked into his account, deleting all but one 4:2D video. This hacking into his account solely adds to the proof that William Rutledge is the real deal. At last, I viewed, before it was once deleted, one of his videos had over 1,500,000 views to it and used to be rapidly on its way to 2 million. He needed that account because the movies had such a high view variety that they had been then positioned on the most considered home web page of YouTube. Because of this increased publicity for him, I find it unbelievable that he himself would delete the account. He is 80 years old, so putting them on once more is a tedious ordeal, and someone else may also have to do it for him. It is feasible alternatively that he acquired a whole lot of exposure that the authorities sent experts to erase his videos and block him get right of entry to and send out emails pronouncing he admits to lying. Yes, they sent out messages claiming to be him. Since then, he has created a new account called Val Valiant Thor. Curiously, he selected this name because Val Valiant Thor is supposedly the name of the first alien contact, where a human-like alien landed his spaceship in Washington close to the White House to meet with the US President again in March of 1957. To find William Rutledge, clearly type Apollo 20 on YouTube or go to his new website at http://reva.com/video/624297/apollo-20-alien-spaceship-on-the-moon-csm-flyover/. Let's evaluate 4 of his videos. His youtube.com account has solely one video left on account that any individual broke into it and deleted all of them. However, some of his followers added his movies to their YouTube pages. William states, "To those who did the job, congratulations, you are nicely paid." He is referring to those that broke into his youtube.com account. He made a new account at reva.com. 1. Title: Apollo 20 Alien Spaceship on the Moon CSM Flyover. Found at http://reva.com/video/624297/apollo-20-alien-spaceship-on-the-moon-csm-flyover/video. Length is 239. In the establishing of this video, it suggests the inner of the CSM module, the place it seems that see a flag decal that is half American and half Russian. Below this decal is the Apollo 20 mission emblem, which has 2 small spaceships carrying away a lengthy cigar-fashioned ship from the surface of the moon. Note the surface of the moon in the badge appears like it has a strangely fashioned white construction on it. 43 seconds into the video, you will start to see the moon's surface via what seems to be around the viewfinder. Then you start to see that it is no longer just over the cigar-shaped alien ship in DePort crater. However, it is a mere few ft from its top. The digicam is scanning the top surface of the ship from end to end, revealing a variety of deeply carved hieroglyphics in its outer hull. At 1:24 you can see effect holes on its surface. I don't trust these to be brought on by way of meteors, but looks like some laser or particle beam burnt via it. At 1:25 it gets definitely unique of the top hieroglyphics. It looks Mayan in appearance. At 1:38 you see some hieroglyphics, then there is a place that has long lines, plenty like the chin vicinity of a blue whale. At 1:40 into the video, you see the nice view of the hieroglyphics yet. At 1:52 you can see a hieroglyph that appears like a man or woman wearing a headdress and glasses. This is an incredible shut-up video of the ship. 2. Title: Apollo 20 EBE Mona Lisa TV Unscheduled Transmission. This video is at http://rever.com/video/797542/apollo-20-EBE-Mona-Lisa-TV-unscheduled-transmission/ and its period is 3:13. It starts off evolved out inside the module, where you can see an individual dressed in a NASA white jumpsuit. At 25 seconds in, you can see outside the module window at some structures outside. It appears like another module sitting on the surface of the moon. At 1 minute into the video, you will see the EBE, which appears like a female laying down. Her face appears chapped, but glossy at the equal time. Possibly the face is covered in a wax-like coating. I word that between the eyes above the eyebrows is an uncommon bump. This bump is a lot like the Asian Buddha statues that have a comparable bump. It may be a possible 1/3 eye, but it is in no way opened in this video. Her neck and upper chest are protected with an unusual gold metallic towel. Her chest and pelvis appear naked and glossy. Note: I see the guy enjoying round with a camera, flipping it. There appears to be no weightlessness or little distinction from that of Earth's gravity. Needs extra research on why? Seems the gravity in this place of the moon can also be the same as Earth's. Good shut up of face at CISA video. 3. Title: Apollo 20 EBE Mona Lisa 16mm film. Length is 6:45. It is discovered at http://rever.com/video/797241/apollo-20-EBE-Mona-Lisa-16mm-film/. This movie begins out with a shut-up shot of the alien lady they call Mona Lisa. It's a shut-up earlier than they eliminated the ordinary wax-like covers of her two eyes, as properly as it, preserving her mouth open and the bump over her eyes used to be protected in the wax-like coating, perchance indicating the third eye. The condition of the face looks like it was frostbitten, as if frozen before death. They have a paper-like object with alien writing on it. It has been placed in a Ziploc clear plastic bag. It might also be possible that if this paper is legit, that a digitally enhanced photograph of it can be taken from this video, giving us the final proof of an alien species. This would be an excellent way to show that Apollo 20 really took place. This piece of paper with black alien writing scrolled in a cursive-like manner ought to very nicely be the next Rosetta Stone. It is clear on the video, so it should be handy to get a replica made and printed out to analyze. 2:45 into the video, you see a close-up of the fabric of a blanket or towel of hers. This covering close-up looks like a circuit board with blue, light blue, and red conduits. Very cool material and must have other features besides being mere clothing. 3:02. 4. Title: Apollo 20 Legacy Part 1 The City. Length is 5:02. Found at http://rever.com/video/624300/apollo-20-legacy-part-1-the-city/. This is my favorite of all his videos. The town in the background looks so cool, as nicely as the massive building on the ways left of the video that they call the cathedral. Apparently, the cathedral used to be the only intact phase of the city. The video is being taken from the rover. At 1:30 into it, you see the cathedral constructing, and it appears like something from a sci-fi movie. The detail is incredible. They zoom in on the construction to see it close up. Then they scan over the many constructions of the city, from quiet to end. A magazine interview conducted by using Lucas Gantamberlo used to be carried out via a YouTube email account on May 25, 2007. He says his identity is William Rutledge, born in 1930 in Belgium. He is an American citizen, however is no longer accustomed to speaking in English anymore since 1990, when he moved from Europe to Rwanda. He has learned Kinyarwanda and uses French and sometimes German because Rwanda is a former Belgium-German colony. He stated that he moved to Rwanda because of a lady he met. He says, "NASA didn't employ me, USAF did." He worked in an area that researched foreign technology, studying Russian objects only, like the N-1 project, Ajax aircraft undertaking, and the MiG Foxbat 25. Rutledge had formerly worked on the Gemini Challenge, and the USAF remembered that, so they chose him later for Apollo 20. He says he was once chosen, because I used to be one of the uncommon pilots who didn't consider in God. For some reason, he stated that little thing was once the determining thing making him an astronaut. Rutledge says that there have been 300 human beings working on the mission for the USAF at Vandenberg, California. During this mission, there used to be a Russian-American collaboration to make the mission happen. Rutledge claims that the Apollo 18 mission was once the Apollo-Soyuz task that took place in 1975. Apollo 19, however, had a loss of telemetry for some unknown reason, ending mission facts dispatched back. It curiously hit a meteorite in orbit. I consider the odds of a moving object hitting any other transferring object is a long way much less probably than a meteorite hitting a stationary object, but this may want to have been a warning dispatched from lunar inhabitants. Apollo 18's purpose used to be to ship a rover to discover the roof of a ship through climbing up Monaco Hill and entering an opening made by using those who explored the ship far earlier than the USAF ever arrived. When Rutledge spoke about the alien ship and lunar city on the moon, his descriptions dispatched one's imagination whirling. We entered the two ships on the mission. One used to be a cigar-shaped mother ship, the other a triangular-shaped ship. Note: SCW validated that each ship does exist next to one any other. The usage of digital enhancement described beforehand on snapshots AS-15P9630 and AS-15P9625. Most of the mission fell on exploring the mum ship, which NASA believed crossed the universe at least 1.5 billion years ago. We witnessed many symptoms of organic life forms inside, like ancient remains of uncommon vegetation in the area that curiously carries the engine for the craft. Another organic species got here in the shape of triangular rocks that emit droplets of a yellow liquid that has medical properties. We found signs and symptoms of extrasolar creatures. We observed the stays of many tiny bodies measuring about 10 centimeters across. These tiny creatures have been residing in a complex community of glass tubes all alongside the indoors of the ship. The most startling of all the discoveries was once when we came upon two human-like bodies, one of which was completely intact even after over a billion years on the ship. The one intact EBE used to be named by way of Leonov or himself. He was once unsure, calling her Mona Lisa. He said the EBE, extraterrestrial biological entity, was female and shut to 1.65 meters tall. She had genitals, hair, and 6 fingers. Possibly, which means their arithmetic may have been based on a dozen. It used to be obvious that her character was to be a pilot. She had piloting gadgets connected to her fingers and eyes, yet had on no clothes. She had 2 thin cables that ran into her nose area, however notice she had no nostrils. Leonov undid the gadgets over her eyes, causing secretions of bio-liquid to shoot out and freeze from the mouth, nose, eyes, and other components of the body. Some areas of the physique appeared in strangely exact conditions for its age. He stated, as we informed Mission Control, condition regarded now not dead, now not alive. A skinny transparent coating included her hair and skin. We didn't have a scientific historical past, so Leonov and I made a simple test. We determined to take off our bio tools and connect them to the EBE so that it could send the telemetry lower back to Mission Control medical experts. She is now on Earth and she is now not dead. However, I choose to publish other movies of her before I discuss similarly her. We also found a second physique that was regarded to be destroyed. We took the head on board. The color of its skin was a pastel blue or blue-gray. The paws and skin had a bit of unusual inscription over the eyes and forehead. There was a strap besides an inscription round the head. The cockpit of the cigar-shaped mum ship used to be full of calligraphy and used to be made with the aid of prolonged hexagonal tubes. The genuine age of the spacecraft was once 1.5 billion years old, which was once established at some stage in exploration. We located fragments of the original crust, anorthosite, spirals in feldspathoids, interestingly got here from the impact which shaped the Issasak D crater. The density of the meteor influences on the ship validated the age, also the little white effects on the Monaco Hill at the west of the ship, said Rutledge. Rutledge persevered, pronouncing the town that they discovered used to be truly named on Earth. It was determined that this city would be known as Station 1, but as soon as astronauts acquired a shut seam at it, they realized that it was once long given that deserted and grew to become worthless piles of scrap, barring one taller large construction they called the cathedral. That one appeared intact. The cathedral is actually proven on the long way left of the video in element on the video of the lunar city. There was once writing or calligraphy deeply pressed into every piece of metal. We believed the ship and the metropolis had been similar in age, but it is a very tiny part of the whole. On the rover, our telephoto lens makes the alien constructions look better than normal. Rutledge said that he was surprised that no one ever asks him, why is it crucial to cover UFOs? He says it's a question of economics. All the currencies on Earth are based on the price of gold, he states. Most people don't be aware that gold is an extraterritorial metallic that is created when a celebrity dies. When a celebrity dies, its mass grows greatly, atoms get compressed and then the megastar explodes. Large quantities of gold get spread across young solar systems. That's why gold is a carbon-free metal. This capacity is the most frequent substance in the universe. I observed this statement above to be bizarre at first, however then when reviewing the alien spaceship on the moon, fly over earlier than landing, video clip that he released, I have seen numerous reflections of yellow mild from the surface. Two of these patches of what seemed like 24K gold were viewed from the LM lunar module as it flew over them. The video is at http://rever.com/video/62430/apollo-20-legacy-part-1-the-city/ and http://www.youtube.com/watch?v=bf1g8jags8. The first patch of gold seems at some distance left of the screen at 55 seconds into the clip. The 2D large patch appears 1.16 seconds and on the far left of the screen. Two yellow areas that I had until now assumed had been reflections, turns out to genuinely be massive patches of gold shade mineral. One circle-shaped patch seems to be countless meters in diameter. The other is evidently 3 to 4 times larger than the first. Now upon closer inspection, the gold appears to be similar in coloration to unprocessed gold ore with a luminosity of 20 to 24K gold. When I showed the video to a geologist buddy at a neighborhood university, he validated that it has an excessive probability of being gold by its reflection of the sun's mild and its floor color. Others with evidence to recommend Rutledge's story is true. 1. It was suggested in March of 1996 that NASA scientists and engineers who took phase in the Moon and Mars exploration met in the front of Washington National Press Club to talk about their findings. They without delay announced that several man-made buildings and objects had been observed on the lunar surface. The article goes on to say that there is a mass of evidence of deserted cities. An unnamed mission manager's professional stated, "Our guys determined ruins of the lunar cities, obvious pyramids, domes, and God knows what else which are presently hidden deep inside NASA safes, and felt like Robinson Crusoe when he got here throughout prints of bare toes on the sand of the desert island." Later they returned the assertion and referred to as it a mistake. 2. Sergeant Carl Wolf used to be in an image lab when his boss, Staff Sergeant Taylor, came over to him and instructed him they were having a problem with some equipment on the base at the first Lunar Orbiter program. It was once the equal variety of equipment he once used to use, so he thought nothing of it. Wolf was told that it was a NASA facility that he had gone to, however, Wolf remembers him pronouncing NSA, possibly the NSA is in charge of lunar artifacts. Wolf stated that he was once known to restorative some photographic equipment, and his security clearance used to be raised due to him being the sole person at the time capable of restoring such equipment. He noticed a lot of activity in the hangar that day. He saw that a lot of guest nametags had been on humans from overseas countries in this hangar. He was in the lab when an airman came up to him saying, "We located a base on the return facet of the moon." Wolf used to be taken aback, of course. Then the airman showed Wolf some photos that truly showed geometric shapes, properly geared up and nicely designed. This story confirms Williams Rutledge's details. President John F. Kennedy wrote a memorandum for the CIA director about UFO intelligence documents on November 12, 1963, simply 11 days earlier than he was assassinated. The physique of the memo stated, "As I had discussed with you previously, I have initiated, blacked out, and have instructed James Webb to strengthen an application with the Soviet Union in the joint area and lunar exploration. It would be very useful if you would have the excessive hazard instances reviewed with the purpose of identification of bona fide as antagonistic to labeled CIA and USAF sources. It is important that we make a clear difference between the regarded and unknown in the match. The Soviets attempt to mistake our prolonged cooperation as a cowl for brain gathering of their defense and house programs. When these statistics have been sorted out, I would like you to arrange a software of facts sharing with NASA where unknowns are a factor. Unknowns here may refer to the understanding of alien cities, structures, and ships on the moon. This will assist NASA mission directors in their protecting responsibilities. I would like an intervening time record on the records review no later than February 1, 1964, signed, John F. Kennedy.